Jerry here with That Theatrically Jerry, and today I'm doing a review on BeTopper's L1015. This light intrigued me due to its design and light output. Let's see if it holds up to its specs. Included with purchase is a PowerCon power cable, and it's pretty thick, so it's a pretty decent one. I appreciate them including that. You're also getting a standard 3-pin DMX cable. That's also included. You also get two of these quick release mounting brackets. I prefer clamps, but the quick release are just as good. They're better than the old traditional thumb screws. And the most important thing is the user manual. So I suggest reading over this. It does contain all of your DMX channels as well as different DMX channel modes. So definitely keep this just in case there's not a profile for this light fixture. The L1015 measures in at 38.78 inches long by 6.02 inches high and a super slim 2.874 inches deep. That makes it very versatile when mounting in different scenarios. It weighs in at 13.99 pounds, making it the right balance of heft without feeling cheap. So one of the things that interested me most about this light fixture was the new square design to each of L1015's 10 lens elements. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that now. So these have a square cut out of them to create more of a square beam when it's coming out of it. And we're going to go ahead and look at that later on. But behind each of these 10 optics is a 15-watt RGBW, so a 4-in-1 LED engine or surface-mounted diode. BeTopper is equating them to the output of a traditional 40-watt light each. We'll take a look at the light output later on in this video, as I stated, but for right now I just kind of wanted to show you the cool looking design of this. And around each of the optics here, or the lens, is some really cool looking fans, radiator fans, so it has a really neat look to it. This light fixture is a moving head beam wash, so it's a 2-in-1. It's capable of tilting on the Y-axis, so it can tilt here all the way back to here. Below the moving head here is a fairly typical LCD display. It's a 4-character or 4-digit display here. As you notice, it's not the traditional red color. It does have a blue tint to it. However, the characters light up red. So it gives it better contrast when viewing it. I love that they've included that. Right below that are your buttons for navigating the user interface. We have our menu button, our up button, our down button, and our enter button. And these are not super large, but they're not the smallest buttons I've seen on a light fixture, so they are pretty easy to access when navigating the user menu. Let's go ahead and take a look at the built-in menus for this light fixture. The first menu you're going to be greeted with here is your address menu. This is for setting your DMX address. As you can see, there's an A, that's for address, and it says 001. So it's set at DMX channel 1. You can set it anywhere from 1 to 512, so a full universe there. I'm going to leave it at 1. Our next menu says CH. This is your channel mode. So we have a 7-channel mode, a 13-channel mode, all the way up to a 22-channel mode and a 43-channel mode. So there are a lot of different channels you can select on this light fixture. If you want full control of each individual light on here, I suggest the 43-channel mode, but if you want just the basics, the 7's just fine. Our next menu says E. That is the built-in effects menu. So There are 127 different kinds of built-in effects or macros for this light fixture, and we'll go over those a little later on in this review, but I just wanted to show you guys that. We also have our speed mode, and this sets the speed for the built-in macros or shows. You can pick anywhere from 0 to 255 for speed. I'm going to leave it at 0. Our next menu is our red channel, so you can set this anywhere from 0 to 255, as well as your green, your blue, and your white channel. The next menu is SN. That is your sound controlled mode or your voice control sensitivity adjustment. Right now it's at 0, or actually it's at 80, but you can adjust the sensitivity of the sound all the way from 0 to 99, 99 being the most sensitive. So this does have a built-in microphone to pick up noise, just in case you want to run this without a light controller or console. You do have several options, this sound mode as well as the built-in macros. Our next menu is the adjustment of the Y-axis motor parameters. So you can do anywhere from 0 to 255. It's at 128 by factory default, so I'm going to leave it at that. But you can adjust this just in case your tilt isn't where you want it at. Our next menu says T, and that is our temperature display. So if this says 33 on here, that means it is running at 33 degrees Celsius. If the temperature sensor ever fails on this, it will read out as 2000. So I like that they've included a onboard temperature sensor so you can see just how hot this light fixture is getting, which I'm going to doubt it gets very hot, especially with that large radiator that's built into that. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a look at the back of this light fixture. If you notice on the back of the L1015, there are no I/O ports. BeTopper has moved these conveniently into a cove here underneath the fixture. This maximizes your setup flexibility by giving you more room to mount this bar in inconvenient or untraditional locations. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the I/O ports that are underneath this light fixture. So I love how neatly they've laid out the I/O ports for this light fixture. On the right here, we have our PowerCon power in and out. On the left here, we have our DMX in and out. So this is allowing for us to daisy chain our power supply as well as our data to multiple fixtures. It just makes it easier to run a chain of these instead of having to plug these in at each outlet, as well as running data down them. So I think that's pretty cool. Dead center, we have our fisheye hook here, and this allows you to connect your safety cable to this light fixture. You should always have a safety cable on all of your light fixtures, and they need to be rated at 10 times the weight of the fixture. So if this fixture weighs 14 pounds, your safety cable needs to be able to hold 140 pounds of weight. That's just a little safety lesson for me there. We also have our quick release or quick connect mounting brackets here. So there are 4 holes here because there are 2 brackets that need to be inserted to hold this light fixture if you are mounting it to a truss or bar. I think it's really cool also that BeTopper has included little rubber feet here, and that is to dampen the sound and vibration from this light fixture. The fixture itself is not going to make a whole lot of sound except for when its motor's running. So the motor sound and the vibration from the motor are dampened when you're using this light fixture and it's not being suspended. Something else I noticed is there's no fan. The L1015 uses a fanless design, meaning that it's passive cooled. So along the entire 39 inches of this fixture is a aluminum heat sink to maximize heat dispersion. So as you can see here, there are fins, and so this is acting like a radiator, and it is taking the heat off the LEDs and passively cooling them with the ambient room temperature. Now, you might be wondering why all light fixtures don't use this method of cooling, and that is because these aren't super bright lights, so they're not consuming a lot of energy. On much higher lights, you're going to want to see active cooling. So fans do have their place in light fixtures, and I prefer active cooling over passive because you never know where you're going to run these. If the ambient temperature, especially here in Florida, is super hot, a passive radiator is not going to do as great of a job as a active cooling system. But how large this heat sink is running down the entire light fixture, it's going to do a great job of keeping this light cool. So the first thing we're going to look at are the built-in macros. I wanted to show you guys just a few of them because there are 128 built into this light fixture, and we're not going to be able to go through all of them, but we'll take a look at a couple of them right now. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the built-in macros or shows that are included with the L1015. There are 128 built-in shows. In order to access them, we're going to go ahead and go to E on the menu, and right now we are in show 1. Produces a rainbow amount of colors, and the beams are super sharp on these, and they are also square shaped, just like the lens or optics on the light fixture. The L1015 boasts a 32-bit linear dimming system that should make for superior dimming capabilities in theory. Let's go ahead and see how well the dimmer works on this light fixture. So right now I'm going to go ahead and bring up red. So as you can already see, there's a huge jump from off to 1%, meaning that it's not a 32-bit linear dimming system. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring this all the way to full for you guys. So we're at 100%. It does have very nice control of the higher end of the dimming, but at the lower end, as you can see, you'll start to see steps. So we got 8%, 7, 6, 3, 2, 1, and then 0 is completely off for that. So I'm not entirely sure where the 100% linear dimming 32-bit came from, but right now it doesn't even look like 16-bit, so I'm going to assume that it's probably an 8-bit linear dimming system. Let's go ahead and try a different color just to see maybe if it's the red. So we have our green now, we're at 0, and this is 1%. I'm going to go ahead and bring that all the way to full. And this is at 100%, and I can go down to 80% right here, and there's not much stepping going on because it is controlling the brighter end a lot better than the lower end of the light. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other colors here. So we have white. Now the white is the same. At 0 it's off, at 1% it's on. Now we're at 10, and I'll go back to 2, 1, 0. So the dimming on the lower end is not super smooth on this. But you can see at the higher end, there's less steps. So I'm at 100% right now, and I'm going to bring it down to 50%. And then I'll bring it back up to 100%. And as you can see, it's a much smoother transition. So I don't believe that this has a 32-bit linear dimming system on it. We can go ahead and also have the system dim it for us with one of the built-in shows. So here we have our red, and it's going down to 0, and as you can see, it just turns right off. There's no smooth dimming on the lower end. So with that being said, I couldn't recommend this for theaters because they demand high control of their lights, but I can recommend this for nightclubs or DJs, simply because they like the higher end of the light spectrum, whereas theaters and churches like full control of the lower end. So these are just turning right on and off, as you can see. They don't smoothly dim 100% to 0, so definitely not a 32-bit linear dimming system. Let's go ahead and check out the claims on the strobe. All right, so the L1015 also has a 0 to 30 hertz strobing capability. Let's go ahead and see how well this fixture strobes. So I'm going to go very slow with this so you guys can see the differences in strobe refresh or the hertz. So this is the slowest it's going to strobe for you. And I'm just using the white because they're all going to be the same strobe if I use a red or a green or a blue. So I'm just going with traditional. I'm going to go ahead and ramp this up. We are now at 25%. The strobe looks great on this. It's uniform. There's no stuttering, which is great. We're going to go up to 50%. So as you can see, the higher up you go on the DMX channel for strobe, from 0 to 255, the faster this is going to strobe. So we're at 50%. Now we're at 60, 70%, 90%. So it's strobing quite quick right now. And we're at 100%. So 100% theoretically would be the 30 hertz that they're claiming. And I would say it's closer to a 25 hertz strobe simply because you can see the refresh on it, but not very well. You'd have to have trained eyes for that. It looks great to me at the highest speed, and it also looks great at the lowest speed. And as you can see, it's very uniform across the bar, so you're not seeing a bunch of stuttering or lag between each one of these optics. So the strobe does look great on this fixture. All right, so I've taken my external microphone off just so we can use the built-in microphones of my camera to hear how loud the Y-axis motor is on this light fixture, and we're also going to see how well it operates. So I'm going to go ahead and go from one extreme to the other. As you can hear, there is some noise being made by the motor. And this camera is about 2 feet away from the fixture. Let's see how smooth it will operate too. This isn't a 16-bit linear Y-axis, but it does move on each percent on the DMX channel. So I'm at 41, here's 42, here's 43. So it does have some fine control of the motors. However, they're, like I said, not 16-bit. And they are relatively fast. We can adjust the speed of the motors as well. So let's try that. Now I have the motors on the slowest setting to kind of give you guys an idea as far as speed goes. So there is some nice control of the Y-axis movement on this light fixture. And we can bring the speed back up to quick if we want as well. So this is the fastest it's going to go from one extreme to the other. It's about 1 second from front to back, so it is pretty quick for a light fixture of this price point. It's a pretty fast motor on this, so you will be pleased with that. If you are interested in purchasing one of these, I'm going to go ahead and leave a link down below in the description. If you enjoyed watching this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel at Theatrically Jerry, where I do review a lot of light fixtures, DJ lighting, stage lighting, equipment, atmospherics, controllers, consoles, as well as tutorials. So if any of that stuff interests you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel at Theatrically Jerry. If you have any specific comments or questions about this fixture, go ahead and leave it down below in the comments. I do read them as quickly as I can and respond to them. And again, I appreciate you guys for watching.